Stop me if you've heard this before, but the Dawgs are winners. Do you understand? I'm talking about the third Butkus Award winner under Kirby Smart in Athens, as well as some all SEC honors and potentially some all SEC snubs next on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. Today's episode brought to you by Game Time. Game Time, download the Game Time app, gametime.co. He is Daniel. I'm Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for the everydayers that are here with us. And for the first listeners, you wake up in the morning, you get this loaded up. And for the loyal third segment listeners that listen all the way in, we appreciate you guys. We're talking Georgia being winners in the SEC with some notable hardware being distributed out to the players. We're talking Jalon Walker and why he is the most impactful linebacker in the nation and just what that means for his outlook going forward. And then possibly some snubs that, look, it's not a beauty contest. And the all SEC teams are often wrong, just like preseason numbers get going. And I'm gonna tease you a little bit in first segment before we talk about all of that. With a little thing, Daniel, I went on the SEC squad show and we were talking about rankings and how stupid rankings are and playoff rankings and who got it right and who got it wrong. I have a very simple system, and it comes down to actually stealing from them dogs over on the hardwood who will be making March Madness this year.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we talking about basketball?
Here's what I'm saying. Do you think if we got rid of the AP poll and the coaches poll?
Yeah,
Daniel,
throw them out, please.
Throw them out. And no one was ranked until week 8.
Yes.
Of college. So no rankings. It's just Georgia, Clemson to begin the year. That's it. Don't you think that would have a huge impact on people's perception down the road? And if we got quad 1 wins back into the conversation for college football. So if you got a quad 1 win, that helps your resume for postseason play. I think this would be a great thing. Tell me your initial thoughts real quick. Just good thought about that.
Yeah, I don't hate this for quality of system. I do think we need to get in some objective metrics into college football playoff rankings, like college basketball has, the quad system, the strength of schedule, strength of record, all of these things. The problem is there's not a big enough body of work in college football as compared to college basketball to create a substantial enough quad system. You know, college basketball's got 300 plus teams and each team is playing 30 plus games. Yeah. There's a lot of basketball being played, meaning there's a lot of data points that you can create to kind of computer generate these RPI rankings, which is where the quad system comes from. So you don't have that much data in college football. And so most of your rankings are going to be subjective. Now, you could still do things like strength of record and strength of schedule. But again, what are you basing that off? If you're basing that off of subjective rankings, then your strength of record and strength of schedule is a subjective metric. It's not objective.
All right,
because
look, I was just trying to come up with something. Okay.
No, I don't hate it. I think.
Or how about this? Here's another simple system.
Okay.
Win your conference.
Hey, there's a thing that you could do.
Okay, great.
Like Texas failed to win the Big 12 this year. And so they didn't make it in automatically because they failed to win the Big 12.
People tell them they transferred on over. Did anybody clue that in?
Okay. Here's why you'll never see the AP poll go away, by the way, at the beginning of the season. As much as people would like this, and it all comes down to one word, Clint. It's casuals.
There it is.
The casuals need these numbers next to these teams' names so that they can generate. ESPN needs that so that they can generate buzz around these games.
2 top 5 schools face off. Florida State's in the Florida State's
see, that's the thing, is you need to draw the casuals in. And so as much as that might make sense, let's wait and rank teams after week 8 when we've actually seen them and not have all these preseason biases go into it. You're never going to see that, because the day that the AP poll drops in the preseason, Clint, is a day that people are talking about college football, and so that's you can't get rid of it. It's foolishness, but
all right,
Georgia's got Kirby Smart, so we're gonna be fine.
Hey, let's talk about all SEC honors. SEC teams were announced. We had a couple of notable dogs make the all SEC squad. Daniel, we're going to talk about Jalon Walker and what he means in the second segment. But first segment, Tate Ratledge, how you doing? Big Hoss, even with the injury, Daniel, he makes all team, which is, I mean, I was surprised to see him on there. In all honesty, I was shocked to see his name on here.
Tate Ratledge has become the poster child for the University of Georgia offensive line. That he just is he's the placeholder. Like we need a Georgia offensive lineman. This is what the group was saying, and so we're going to slide Tate Ratledge in there. I'm not saying he's not deserving, and to be honest with you, I don't know who else I would put on there. Like I think Tate Ratledge made a notable impact on this team when he came back from his injury. But he did miss a ton of time to be first team all SEC. But he did make a notable step, when he came back from that injury. I think our most consistent offensive lineman all year was Dylan Fairchild. And so I probably would have put him as a first team all SEC performer. But quickly, let's rattle off the rest of the first teamers from the University of Georgia here. Okay, what should we do for the rest of the segment, Clint?
Well, special teams, Woodring got in there as well as Snapper from the University of Georgia. Again, I mean, Woodring is, in fact, an incredible kicker.
Well deserved. Should have had first team all SEC punter as well, by the way.
Should have, absolutely, which is absolutely ridiculous. Bo Gardner gets the long snapper award as well. Second team, Daniel, let's go to the second team honors. And again, Tate Ratledge is the post child. Fairchild, speaking of, he makes the second team for the all SEC. Dylan Fairchild, as well as Jared Wilson, much deserved. I think those two guys much deserved. Jared Wilson had a shot for me to be first team all SEC. I think these two guys played incredible all year long. The most consistent of the Monroe Freeling is, of course, the most talented right now, but the most consistent all year long. Defensive side of the ball, Daniel, Jalon Walker gets second team linebacker, which is going to be interesting for what happened later on in the day. Michael Williams, very interesting. Michael Williams gets in there for defensive line. Malachi Starks over at safety. And Daniel, it's odd to me that those are the names we're talking about second team for a couple of reasons. One, Jalon Walker, like we said, gets an award later on. Michael Williams, second team. I'm a little bit taken aback by that as well, Daniel.
Is he the biggest name on that Georgia defensive front? Yes. Will he be the highest draft pick on that Georgia defensive front? Yes. Was he the best player this year on that Georgia defensive front? No.
No, it wasn't.
No, he wasn't. I mean, Chaz Chambliss outplayed Michael Williams over the course of the season.
Chaz Chambliss, third teamer on the SEC. Those two should have been swapped. I like Michael. Go be great. I think you're going to do great in the postseason. I think you still have much to do in the postseason and in the NFL. I think you're going to be great. Chaz Chambliss progressively each game got better and better and better and outplayed you. I completely agree.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I no disrespect to Michael. I just don't think he was as good as Chaz Chambliss. Trevor Etienne also in the third team there. Chaz Chambliss, as you mentioned, Dalen Everett and Dan Jackson both make it.
That's right.
In the third team. We're gonna come back, give our thoughts on these all SEC selections. Who was snubbed, who went too high, who went too low. What do we think about all of it? But first, want to let you know about these.
And these are Game Time, gametime.co. This just in, when Daniel and I are present and live in person at the Sugar Bowl.
Come with us.
We'll be using Game Time. Come on with us. Come on down to New Orleans and let's have a good old time in New Orleans.
They got a Chili's there somewhere.
I got a chili somewhere. I guarantee you we shut the place down. GameTime.co. Get over there right now. Download the app. Get views from the seat. Slide that slider on over. All in pricing for the tickets that you're going to go and use. Daniel and I only use them because it's the only place we can use them, should use them, will use them. GameTime.co is fantastic. Views from the seats, and they'll match anything. If they find a lower price somewhere else, if you find it, they'll go ahead and match it 110% because they guarantee the best prices all the way up to the start of the event. Even if the event has already started, you can still get in with last minute pricing. GameTime.co. Right now, download the GameTime app. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege. $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
All right, Clint, what stands out to you about these teams? We read off all the names. We mentioned a couple guys maybe should be swapped. What stands out to you about these teams in totality when you look at them?
I actually think just by and large, the players that I would say need to be on some sort of postseason award for the SEC got there, by and large for Georgia.
Okay.
I think inside linebacker, we're going to talk about snubs. I said by and large, there's a couple guys that I do think actually should have been on it. But if you say like inside linebacker, Jalon Walker gets on there. Jalon Walker played coverage linebacker, played inside linebacker, played edge. He was all over the place. He was absolutely a monster in those positions. Coverage snaps, the times in which he's not being targeted and not letting catches happen actually do play into this. You see his leadership. So I think inside linebacker, CJ and Raylan and those guys, I don't think there's enough volume to really stand out compared to other teams like that. I think if I was looking at the secondary, Dan Jackson's there. KJ Bolden not being on the list is a little interesting to me, if I'm going to be totally honest, because I think KJ played really well this year, but he came on second half really, really strong. First half was so the season, which is why that happened. And so if you look at it, these are the guys that we consistently talked about, Daniel. These names are the ones that you and I referenced quite a bit for the Bulldogs doing well. And so whether first team, second or third team, whatever, like I don't even know. It just means you were acknowledged as somebody who in the SEC performed above and beyond the most of the players. And these are the names.
It is fascinating to me. We're talking about the SEC champion, number 2 overall seed, Georgia Bulldogs. And there were 2 offensive linemen and 1 running back that made the first, second, or third team all SEC on the offensive side of the ball. And Clint, I don't see any snubs. Like, I don't think there was a single. I'm talking about 3 players off of the SEC championship offense made it on first, second, or third team. And I see 0 snubs. It just goes to show you this. Like, I said it on yesterday's show, 2 days ago show, whatever. I don't know. The days all run together. This is the best coaching job that Kirby Smart has ever done.
Ever.
Like look at what this team was able to do. Look at what they were able to overcome. Look at what they were able to do with a roster that, yes, is very talented. I'm not here to cry and play my violin about Georgia's roster. All right. They're the very talented roster.
Well, you could say that you were the number 1 talent composition roster in America, and it's fine to say you're in a rebuilding mode right now. You could say that if you wanted, Daniel.
Well, that's what you have to do when you make excuses when the playoff field is literally expanded to accommodate you and you still miss it. So it's fine. Best coaching job I think Kirby Smart's ever done, because you don't have the star power, right? Like, no one today is who's a Georgia fan or any other fan for that matter is sitting here looking at these teams going, Carson Beck was snubbed off of the first, second, or third team all SEC. Like, Lenore Sellers was the third team SEC quarterback, and he had a way better season than Carson Beck did. The distance
between those two is wide.
Way better season than Carson Beck did. None of the receivers, none of the tight ends, none of the
think about that for a
neither
minute.
Of the tackles.
Preseason, Oscar Delp was going to be somebody. Preseason, we said Oscar Delp, as well as Ernest Green, locks for first team.
Locks. Right now, Ernest Green's not even the starter. Monroe Freeling might have been first team if he had gotten more than 3 games.
Monroe Freeling, I could have seen as third team because of his performance that he did so well coming into the season. But yeah, no wide receivers, no tight ends,
no snubs.
ETN, no
like
snubs.
Nate Frazier's not going to make it. Like it's crazy to me that you had Tate Ratledge, Dylan Fairchild, 2 guards, and a running back.
Yeah.
And there's one first teamer, 1 second teamer, 1 third teamer. I'll tell you on the defensive side of the ball, to me, Clint, first of all, it's hilarious. We're going to talk about Jalon Walker in the third segment and how it's hilarious he didn't make first team All SEC when he is the best. He's voted as the best linebacker in all of America, the singular best.
There's no ties. There's no second place. There's no second Butkus award.
There were 3 first team All SEC linebackers.
My God.
And he was not one of them. That's funny. But on the defensive side of the ball, Clint, I would have liked to have seen Nazir Stackhouse or Warren Brinson get a little bit of love. I think maybe a third team. I think those guys played really well this year. I think that interior, that defensive line for Georgia was underrated at times this year. And so, yes, I would have liked to have seen CJ and Raylan get a little love. I think their time is coming next year. And I would have liked to have seen those defensive linemen. But to your point, I'm glad Dalen Everett found his way onto that third team. I thought he deserved it.
He did.
As I was reading down the list and I got through the second team and I hadn't seen his name yet, I started to get nervous that he was going to get omitted, and I was going to be upset about that because I think Dalen's had a great year. I think I don't have any major problems. And again, we have had years before where Georgia just litters this team. Like this and it's just clear. That's not the case this year. This Georgia team isn't this physically overwhelming juggernaut of a unit. They just want it more than you do. They're better coached. They have more heart. And they just find ways to win over and over again. All credit goes back again to Kirby Smart.
This coaching staff, Kirby Smart. Kirby, you look around the college landscape, head coaching, offensive coordinator, just littered with Georgia people everywhere. You see roster with NIL and transfer portal. You see recruits. You see guys leaving. You see guys going to the league. Everywhere at successful layers. Again, 2 of the best receiving threats in the NFL. Not as rookies. 2 of the best receiving threats in the entire NFL are Georgia players last year who are now in the NFL. That's why no wide receivers, no tight ends. Okay, great. Kirby Smart absolutely nailed it when he said this team is mentally tougher than any other team I've coached. He has infused that mentality in this team. And guys, that should excite you. Because I'm telling you, 12-team playoff format, where you got to be tougher than nails, is mentally right now. Everybody's beat up, everybody's tired, everybody's exhausted, and now it's that: can you dig down and can you do something more? There's not a place in the world I'd rather be than where we are right now, and I think the SEC all teams, that's fine. I'm gonna go over some guys that got above Jalon Walker, and I'm just going to laugh my backside off that you keep your trophy, you keep your All SEC. It's a joke because Jalon outshines you all. We're going to talk about that next, but first, this. Daniel and I made a heap of money using FanDuel, FanDuel.com, the official sportsbook of Locked On Bulldogs, Locked On Podcasts everywhere. We use them all the time for all of our sportsbook needs, and you need to as well. Right now, go over there, put a $5 wager. You win that $5 wager, you get $150 in bonus bets straight to your account, because that's how FanDuel takes care of you. They're fast, they're efficient, they're safe, they're secure. You put your money in, you get your money out, you make all the bets. When we do locks, we do them over on FanDuel, and bowl season is here.
Bowl season locks are coming.
Let it be known. We will have a bet on every single bowl. Okay, I'm just here to tell you, every bowl we will be betting.
Yeah,
FanDuel.com, the official sportsbook of Locked On Bulldogs and Locked On Podcasts everywhere.
Daniel, bowl season.
Bowl season. Let the record state, for all the loyal third segment listeners, the first listeners, and those who are with us all the time, It's not a bowl unless the thing that is said can actually fit into a bowl. Otherwise, it's a good game. It's a good postseason game. But a bowl, we
won't hear of it.
You could put it in a bowl. I will listen to you. Okay.
Let me ask you this, Clint.
Okay.
You put sugar in a bowl?
Absolutely, you may.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be fine then. After that, can you put oranges in a bowl, Clint?
You can definitely put oranges in a bowl, Daniel.
Okay. So I think we're going to be fine then, that's what I'm trying to say. Yep.
All right. I'm going to list you off the names of linebackers that were ahead of Jalon Walker, and it's egregious. Okay. Like, I'm fine with these guys getting their just deserves a couple of times, but we're talking first team. We're talking best defenses in America reside in the SEC.
Yeah.
The best defensive players reside in the SEC. The best linebackers in the nation reside in the SEC. And you're telling me Danny Stutzman, Jahad Campbell, and Whit Weeks are better than Jalon? Whit Weeks, I saw. He balled out in a couple games. I saw him get it handed to him out of the back of the end zone into padding by a wide receiver being blocked downfield. Okay, I saw Stutzman not have any clue what a tackling behavior is and getting ran through by what team? Everybody in the SEC. It's Oklahoma. I saw Jahad getting ran through. Talk about Oklahoma by Oklahoma not being able to stop them at any point, and a now defunct in the portal quarterback. Daniel, like, what is going on?
Jalen Milroe's in the portal?
No,
no, that's a different quarterback. Sorry,
that's a different one.
Look, it's just it's comical. Jalon Walker has had a tremendous season. Let's start there. 6.5 sacks is the thing that stands out when you look at what Jalon Walker has done. 2 fumble recoveries, also, huge. He's been there in the backfield in huge moments. To me, it's 58 tackles this year.
I'm sorry, what?
58 tackles.
I don't think people understand that number in comparison to college football. Like,
well, let me try to put some perspective on it.
Please do.
In his career prior to this year, he had 29 tackles.
So 29 tackles
career.
I'm sorry, last year.
No, last year and the year before.
Okay.
Cumulative total, 29 total tackles. He had 20 last year. He bumped that triple to 58 tackles this year. He was around the football. He showed that he's not just a blitzer this year. Had some pass breakups on the stat line this year, Clint. Showed that he's got the versatility. He can do multiple things. He can rush the passer. Obviously, he's Georgia's best pass rusher. But he really was quietly an all-around linebacker. I would say Georgia now has 3 Butkus Award winners under Kirby Smart.
Come on now.
And they are Roquan Smith, Nakobe Dean, and Jalon Walker. I would say Jalon Walker by far is the sneakiest and the quietest of those 3 linebackers, Clint.
Yeah. And it's ridiculous to put it in that terms. We're talking about guys that, again, that if I were to choose one of my favorite players, my favorite player, not the best, my favorite, Roquan Smith, because what he was able to do on the defensive side of the ball made me fall in love with the Kirby era so quickly and so instantaneously. The eraser.
Remember that fax machine? You remember that fax machine?
UCLA said, "We don't receive faxes." And he said,
all right, I'll go somewhere else.
He said, okay, what's Georgia, your fax machine working? Oh, it is? Cool. Let's send that.
Man.
A literal fax machine gave us the greatest linebacker in our entire school history.
That's wild.
Daniel, it's so wild. But yeah, you put him in context of those, the Nakobe Dean showing out now for the Eagles as well.
Yeah.
Jalon could be that guy. he is not far off from following their footsteps. I know we just talked about two of the best linebackers ever at UGA, two guys in the league who are disrupting things. And Jalon's not far behind. He's late coming in this, but if you see him blitzing and you see his handwork, his strength, his speed, and silently racking up tackles and being around the ball on an otherwise defense that we thought Malachi Starks was going to lead this team in tackles, Daniel. We thought Malachi Starks was going to be an alpha on this team.
Yeah.
He wasn't at all. We had to rely on Dan Jackson. We thought CJ Allen was going to be, this was the CJ Allen breakout year. It wasn't that breakout year. Jalon had to be all the different places. He had to be in pass coverage. He had to be second level. He had to be a leader. He had to get the guys lined up. He had to blitz off the edge, inside. Kirby Smart, the best defensive coach in all of college football. His sheet isn't easy to comprehend, guys. It is not oh, no worries. Day one, I'll come in and I'll get this under my belt. I'll just get up there. We'll do man coverage. We'll just lock it up. We'll handcuff it. We'll do cover two, and that'll be no. For him to be able to do this and roam around the field shows the athleticism, not only that, but also the mental ability that he has in the system. It is so deserving, and he's not far off from those greats.
Here's the thing about those three guys, and this is where Jalon Walker is going to follow right in their footsteps, Clint. And this is the wildest thing about when you look at these three players, and you look at Roquan Smith.
Yeah,
he is already way better of an NFL linebacker than he ever was a college linebacker. And he was the best linebacker in all of college football. The best linebacker, we think, in the history of the Georgia football program.
Yep.
And he's a better NFL player than he was a college player.
Yeah.
He's not a Tim Tebow, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, no.
Right?
Oh, no.
Nakobe Dean is well on his way to being a better NFL player than he was a college player. You look at him, he's going to have like 130 tackles this year. He's going to have, he's already got 3 sacks. He's got an interception, for the Eagles this year. Like he's going to be that for a long time. He's going to be a better NFL player. And the thing that I am most confident about Jalon Walker, and have been most confident about him since the beginning of the year, is that whatever Jalon Walker is in college, which apparently is the best linebacker in all of college football.
Yep.
Normally good. He's going to be better in the NFL than he was in college. He's built for the NFL.
Yes, sir.
This cat is everything that the NFL, GMs and head coaches are looking for.
It's not the Pittsburgh Steelers, Harrison, 3-4 outside backer that can bull rush somebody. That system don't play no more.
No.
Okay? It's not just the 4-2. It is as linebacker, you are called upon in so many different ways. When I was in college, the average NFL linebacker was 6'3", 255. Daniel was the average. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The linebackers are smaller, faster, but need to have the same strength and intensity. Still the same strength and intensity with a faster frame, more knowledgeable understanding of it. Jalon Walker is that. He is today's NFL. He knows how to tackle. He knows how to blitz. He's not coming off the field is what we're trying to say.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's going to be the next in a long succession of great inside linebackers. And I'm not even going to speculate the next Butkus Award winner, but let me just say this. He's going to be wearing red and black.
He's on campus already. The next Butkus Award winner for Kirby Smart is already on campus. I don't know which one it is, but I promise you he's already on campus. One of the 4 of them is going to win the Butkus Award. I promise you.
It's the Kirby Award, guys.
You know my favorite thing about Jalon Walker and his NFL future is it doesn't start for 3 more games. Georgia's got him for 3 more. 3 more.
Daniel, should we do an entire episode dedicated to transfer targets that we may be looking at?
No, because we have football to talk about. You know what we're going to do an entire episode about? Whether it would be better for Georgia to play Indiana or Notre Dame. How we match up against Indiana and how we match up against Notre Dame, Clint. These are the things that we're going to be talking about. But sure, go off about your transfer portal targets. I sincerely hope that Ole Miss wins the Super Bowl of the transfer portal again this year.
Again.
Alabama, I hope you don't lose all your players to Vanderbilt.
You should have said that earlier.
All of them.
2 weeks
I
ago.
hope they don't lose all of them. They're inevitably going to lose some players to Vanderbilt. When a team beats you like that on the field, you're going to lose some players to
The
them.
best, guys, it's the best time of year. I'm so glad to be here. He is Daniel. I'm Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. We'll see you guys next time. Till then, see ya.